The following podcast is run by a couple of former wheel turners and one pit guy. It's meant for entertainment, not so much information, but sometimes there's some good information. The opinions expressed are just, these are the morons on the show. Not necessarily right, not necessarily wrong, not the views of any of the sponsors or anything like that. So, these guys, they're going to be talking, they might swear here and there, so if that offends you, either grow up or get a little permission from mom and dad.
All right, Ray fans, Ryan Aho here, the one and only Bert Lehman and Coach Kraus in the house. Both of you guys understood the assignment, right? Wearing the sponsor garb there. Who are you repping here today, guys?
Daytona 1.
Daytona 1. That's how Kraus finished on the podium last week. All right, fair enough. All right, fair enough. Episode 233 brought to you by Impact Health Sharing. So if you're in the market for health insurance, it's that time of year. You need to be looking at open enrollment coming up in the not so distant future here. But if you're self-employed, if you're a business owner, you have employees, if you have a family, if you're in a pretty good bill of health and you're like, man, I barely go to the doctor, I'm paying way too much, my deductibles are out of hand, I think I might have a solution for you. Impact Health Sharing is a product that's been a great alternative to the rising cost of health insurance, literally saving people thousands of dollars every single year. And you can go to any doctor. It's been a good deal. Hit me up, 218-969-1380, or you can hit me up on Messenger, however you want. Call me, text me, whatever. I'll get you a quick, no obligation quote, get you the information you need so you can see if this is a good fit for you. So, Kraus, podium, holy shit, guy. Like, resurrecting the dead. Like, I got to be honest, we're little shy. It's kind of a bittersweet deal, Bert. Got his ass whooped by his pit guy's kid, right? But still a very good second place finish. Kraus, congratulations on finding the podium, but what do we got to do to beat Bailey?
Yeah, he was really good. I pulled the hot Carl, started on the pin and wheeled her all the way up to second. So, no, it was big jumps, big strides. Won the heat race from fourth, and just a little tight. We got a couple adjustments yet to make, so we're getting close. We're getting back in the ball game, and we're there. And obviously, I told Bailey Roche after the feature over, it's the 28 star and the 29 star. We plan on being 1-2 the rest of the year, no matter which way it is. So that's our plan, and we're going to keep kicking butt at Viking Speedway.
That is literally not what you told me and Bert on the group chat before. You said if that little shit beats me again next time, I'm either tearing him down or I'm going to yard sale him into the fence. I'm not really sure, but no, good job on that. Good job, Bailey, getting her done at Viking Speedway. Anything else? Did you do any other racing this weekend? I know we watched a lot. We were talking a lot. Did you make it to any other tracks?
I didn't. Just watched a lot of racing. Finally got some racing in at Viking Speedway, and then just a little tidbit with Bailey Roche too. He is my goalie coach for the Alexandria Blizzard, so I can fire him, Bert. So it's just pretty simple. He might have to just start letting up and let me pass. He doesn't get fired. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. So no, we have fun with it, and it's obviously a real cool deal, Ryan. You obviously know Bailey's dad, Shane. He pit for my dad. That's how long he's been around, and obviously has won a lot of races with me. So good to get the and obviously I think I probably had a little part of them getting into super stock into racing. So it's just kind of a cool deal to see him doing well and have some fun too. But next time I get to his bumper, yeah, you might be right. You might have to rough him up a little bit.
Yeah, Bert. It's kind of like a little shake and bake. Kraus is over there like, can I win? It's like Cal Narton Jr. Do I get it? No, I'm just kidding. I know it's your job to win. I know. So he's gonna let Bailey win the rest of the way out. Probably. We got to get that 29 star in victory lane, but the 28 star is good to see him up there too. Bert, did you go racing this past weekend?
Yes, I went to Shawano Speedway on Saturday night. Took the grandkids there, so They're 7-4. So I was at the races, but I didn't necessarily get to pay close attention to the racing all the time, watching over a 7 and 4 year old. But it was fun. When they come to Papa's house, they want to go to the races, and we actually watched a lot of racing on TV. We watched some of the sprint car racing at Eldora, and my granddaughter goes, what are those big things on them? And so then I explained to her, what these are, wing sprint cars and that sort of thing. So they like doing what Papa loves, and that's racing.
That's what I like to hear. That's how we get fans involved. I mean, Kraus, that's how you got involved. That's how I got involved. Our dads both raced, right? And I got to be honest, I go to a lot of these racetracks, and there's a lot of racers there that their family's at home, and the sport's not going to grow. And I get it. Things are expensive. There's a lot of stuff going on, but man, if we can all collectively get our kids and the youth around us involved in racing, there might be a future for the sport. So got to give a shout out to my boy, the One to Go Show 83, Dave Dulciak, scoring his first win of the year Thursday night this past week down at Sycamore. The track kind of came to him. It was kind of the typical Sycamore groove where he likes to run and kind of put a beat down on the boys. Battled the first handful of laps there with Zuby, and then adjusted on the restart and drove off into the sunset. So good to finally see the 83 finding victory lane. I was kind of wondering if either one of you two were going to win, and he finally got it done. So now we got to get you in victory lane, Kraus. We got to get Brian in victory lane, and all will be right in the world. So I actually went racing this past weekend as well. I actually had a message from one of our fans. He's like, boy, you guys talk about all the frickin' races that you'd watch on TV. And it's like, that's great, but you're not promoting it good enough. Like, you guys need to get to the frickin' racetrack. And I get it. He's not wrong. And I did. I went to the Gondakla Speedway with my dad and my boy Changa. We went there on Friday night for the Twin 25s, and pretty good crowd over there. Good racing, super good car count. 51 late models in attendance. We'll talk a little bit more about that show in just a little bit here. And then I went over to my old stomping grounds. I went up to the Hibbing Raceway. Got to be honest, we weren't going to go. Nothing against Hibbing. I mean, it was home, but I was kind of thinking, you know what? Let's just stick around. Maybe we'll have a pizza, whatever, watch online. And well, they had bike racing, and the nephew's like, Grandpa, I want to take the bike over to the racetrack. I want to go. And we did. So he threw the bike in the back. And the only reason we went to the races on Saturday was because Aiden wanted to go over. He got second in the bike races. That's the only reason. Guys, 6 total participants. I think there was 6 total participants in the bike races. I don't know what's going on in Hibbing, but the overall culture is struggling over there. There's not a lot of youth there. I'm a little nervous. And but pretty fun experience. Got to see a few people, and always fun to get back in the dog pound and catch some racing. Car counts were light, fan count was even lighter, and I don't know. That's something we're gonna have to dig into here, guys. Is what the hell is going on? I mean, the car counts, the fan counts everywhere is just bad, and that was kind of the theme here this past week as well. So with that said, let's talk about some things that did happen over the past week. Top 5 stories of the week brought to you by our friends over at Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating in Ashland, Wisconsin. So Chris Bredding and the crew down there, I mean, they do it all, right? They build the Galloper chassis. They do custom fabricating, sandblasting, powder coating. They sell parts at a variety of racetracks over there. They can get anything you need racing, and they're the proud sponsor of the #1 series in all of Wissota racing, the Northland Superstock Series, which is coming to a conclusion this weekend. We're excited about that. But hit them up, check them out online. Go to Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating. They got a Facebook page. They do a great job, and he'll help anybody out that he can. So, number 5, Bert, you talked about buggy racing. You talked about a little winged sprint car action. I got to be honest, they kind of stole the show. I mean, it very well could have put them #1. There was some freaking good racing at Eldora, and 4 nights of action, 2 nights for the high limits, 2 nights for the World of Outlaws. Of course, they raced at Attica for the Brad Doty Classic earlier in the week, but that track was on point. I got to give a tip of the cap there to the track prep crew because the features were unbelievable. What's a bigger story to you guys? The dominance of David Gravel, the uncanny ability to pass cars in droves by Donnie Schatz, or the fact that a couple of the high limit hot shoes didn't even make the feature at the King's Royal? What stuck out to you guys? Bert, go ahead.
What stuck out to me was David Gravel. I mean, he won the 2 big features over the course of the week. You know, he won the high limit race main show, and then he won the King's Royal also. So it was a very good payday for him over the weekend. So I would put him at the top of the list, but any of the other storylines that we're going to talk about could be at the top of the list.
Well, David Gravel won both, right? He won $100,000 and $175,000. I mean, $275,000 in 2 nights. Plus, didn't he win Attica as well?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think he did. Yeah, he did. He won Attica.
Okay.
Schatz got second at Attica. So he won Attica, and he won the Joker's jackpot, and he won the King's Royal. Holy shit, right? I mean, we talked about he was kind of the odds-on favorite to win the points, right? But then we talked about, but it's kind of got an asterisk because some of the guys, Brad Sweet moved on and whatever, they're not all there. Well, they were all there this week, and he flat out give them an ass beating. So there is that, right? So that was number 1 storyline. Kraus, is that the best storyline, or the World of Outlaws just dominating the high limits? Maybe that's a storyline. I mean, what stuck out to you from the sprint car action this past week?
Yeah, I think that's the they were kind of, Sweet. A couple of them guys were talking about, thanking everybody, thanking Eldora for doing the high limits back to back before the World of Outlaws. They were talking about that. And then I think their tune kind of changed a little bit because, Tyler Courtney was really nowhere to be found for the weekend. He's been tearing that up. Sweet was up and down. Other than that, Logan Schuhart's probably wishing they'd race Eldora every single week because that's the only time he ever shows up. Other than that, I really didn't think the high limits guys really did much. But the story's got to be the amount of cars that Donnie Schatz passed. I mean, and he says it week in and week out, guys. I got to get my qualifying figured out. And it's, you bury yourself there. But I tell you what, there's nothing more, especially a fan from our area. And obviously, I've met Donnie. You guys, I don't know if Bert, you've met Donnie. I'm sure Ryan, you've met Donnie.
I have.
He's a good guy. He's from our area, was sort of national champion. And when you see him starting in the back at Eldora, he's going to get to the front. And I didn't think he was going to get to the front that fast. He was hauling the mail. So it's good to see him. Gravel was just dominant. But I think the World of Outlaw guys took it a little bit more serious than the high limit guys and wanted to send a little bit of a message. I really do think that just seeing the demeanor and the way their interviews were and the way they were acting is, nope, this is our playground and we're going to take it to you.
Well, Brad Sweet, let's face it, him and Kyle Larson been talking a little shit all year long, right? Every chance they get on social media, throwing little jabs. Oh, our guys get to do this and our guys are doing that. And just little jabs out there. And I tell you what, when the money was on the line, it was flat out the World of Outlaws give them an ass kick, and little bit of drama, right? With the $100,000 to win show for the high limits, they did another one of Kraus's favorite things, a closed red or open red, I guess it would be an open red where they can work on the cars. And Sweet was kind of butthurt. It sounded like he did not want that to happen, and I sense a little trouble in paradise. Okay, I get it. They're family, right? They're in-laws. Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet, they run it. But do you think there's a chance that this thing's going to get ugly before and then come to an end? That those two are just going to be on each other's nerves about we should have did this, we should have did that. Do you think there might be a little drama there before too long?
I don't know. I didn't see that interview, or I didn't know that Sweet was that upset. I mean, do Sweet and Larson actually make the calls as to we're going to do an open red and that sort of thing? Or do they have somebody running the show that, because I mean, Sweet's a competitor. He shouldn't be making calls during a race.
I think they have a race director, but I don't know. I'm guessing they have a race director in there, but yeah, I'm not sure who makes the calls. I'm not sure what kind of influence they have. I mean, who knows? Maybe them guys got 2A radios. I doubt it. I think they want to focus on racing when they're there. But I don't know. Let's just face it. They got their feelings hurt this week. They just flat out did. And when your feelings get hurt a little bit, you kind of get humbled a little bit. You tend to get a little bit bitchy. Kraus, what do you got?
Well, maybe you're onto something because Kyle Larson's not at Lernerville tonight. And who knows? Maybe he could be. He's probably still hungover from wearing the Brickyard. I probably would be. And of course, there's butthurt stuff going on about that race too. About what went down at the Brickyard too. So, no, he's not. I don't think he's missed a weekly high limit show this year. I mean, he loves running that sprint car. So, who knows? I don't know what's going on there, but it's got to weigh in a lot on Brad Sweet. There's no doubt about it. Driving and promoter and you're owning a series, that's way too much going on for him.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Brad Sweet dominated. What do you have? 5 straight World of Outlaw titles, right? 5 or 6, I think it was. And then he comes in and I don't know. He's there, but he's not the guy. He's not the guy like he was in the World of Outlaws. He's there, but he's missing something. And Kyle Larson, let's face it, as good as he was a couple of years ago, COVID year, where he was just, I mean, he just got in a dirt car and it was like the most unbelievable thing we've ever seen. He's human. He is not looking like the Kyle Larson that we saw a couple of years ago when he straps into dirt cars. In fact, that's probably a reason he's not really running the late model stuff. I know he had focus on the Indy deal and, he's focusing on trying to win a championship in NASCAR, but tell you what, we're finding out very quickly here that Kyle Larson, you put too much on his plate. He's human just like everybody else. So let's jump into a little late model action, boys. Q-Sits was kind of the big deal. There's 5 Lucas Oil late model races this past weekend, but the big deal was the Silver Dollar Nationals at Q-Sits. Or was it? Or was it the big deal? I'm not really sure how to kind of put that, right? But at the end of the day, Bobby Pierce had 6 straight wins going into the 50,000 to win race Saturday night, and Upset City, the mailman, Devin Moran, kind of an upset there. I got to be honest. Now, he's been good. I think he's become the clear number 2 driver in dirt late model racing, but a little bit of a shocker. I mean, did you think it was going to be easy street? Pierce was just going to go ahead and win that one too. Were you surprised that Moran stole a 53 grand to win race from Bobby Pierce?
I mean, I'm not totally surprised. I mean, Moran started on the front row. I mean, actually all 3 races there, I believe the winners started on the front row. So there wasn't a whole lot of passing throughout all 3 races there. And like you said, I mean, Moran's proven this year that, he's to be talked about as one of the top late model drivers in the country. So I don't think it was that big of a surprise.
Super consistent. I mean, coming out party really for Devin Moran. Kraus, your overall thoughts? I mean, a lot of storylines. I got a couple here written down if you don't touch on them. But what are a couple storylines that come out of Houston? It's, I mean, one of the, I guess, premier racetracks in our area. What was your thoughts?
Well, my big thought is looking at this from a promoter standpoint is this 2 separate late model class thing working for this event? In my opinion, you could say the Tri-State late models are the premier, and then the SLR, was it SLMR or SMLR, whatever that is. I thought they put on a great show and they had a bigger car count. And then I think a lot of people are looking at it going, why I'm going to go to Houston. It's a $53,000 one. I'm going to get, was there 25, 28 late models
26,
there?
26, yeah.
I mean, you're thinking Silver Dollar Nationals, you're thinking 50, 60, 70 late models. That's my personal opinion. So are the fans going, I don't want to see this? Why aren't we getting the car count? Now is, like I said, having 2 separate late model classes hurting the count? Or would some of those guys race with the super late models if you ran your they ran those turbo street stocks or whatever they got, or, it's kind of a sprint car place too. So that was my big takeaway, I think, was the car count. I had a lot of people Saturday night at the races. They watch Husits, and God, only 25, 26 super late models at Husits. What's going on there with that? So obviously the quality is there. Pierce was there to send a statement. There's no doubt about it. He's been mopping up World Outlaws, and 2 firsts and a second. Doesn't surprise me that Moran won. Pierce got second, and is kind of the guy right now. And like you said, I think Moran's moved into that number 2 spot. But my big takeaway was this: that there was the car counts, and I was actually really super excited to watch the Tri-State deal. Obviously, a lot of local guys from our area there, and then the SLMR late models. Even watching those guys, I was excited to watch those guys just as much as I watched the super late models. That was my big takeaway: is what can we do to get the car count up there, to get the super late models in that 40-50 late model range.
Well, I mean, let's face it. One of the bright spots about Tri-State is they kind of have a rules package that anything works, right? You can run open, you can run with soda, you can whatever, right? You can make it work. If they didn't have a Tri-State race or an SLMR race, how many of those drivers would have said, you know what, let's just go ahead and go to Husits and join the field? Would they have had 8, 10 of them cars maybe out of the 40 plus that ran with them and said, you know what, now we have 35 cars, and you're like, okay, that ain't quite so bad. I don't know. I mean, you talked about, do the fans want to see that? Well, I'm going to say no. I mean, we saw pictures, right? The place was empty. There was nobody there. I mean, I get it. They got a big grandstand, but it don't go all the way around the track. It's not Cedar. They don't have a front and back straightaway grandstands. It's just front straightaway. And the front straightaway grandstands was, what would you guys say? Maybe a third capacity, maybe at best.
Yeah, I would say at best. I mean, attendance isn't very good when a 7-year-old says, "Why isn't anybody there?" Because we tuned in on Thursday night, and that's what my granddaughter said to me. She goes, "Why is nobody there?"
Yeah, that is crazy. And if you're a promoter, Kraus, put your promoter hat on for a minute. If you're a promoter, right, they got big time sprint car races there. They bring this race in, the cars don't support it. There's no fans. Is this race done? Is it coming back? Will it be back in 2025?
Boy, you really have to take a look at it. There's no doubt about it. And who knows what their numbers are, with camping and pit people, you don't know, but it's a big purse. That's a really big purse. And those events, you need to put butts in the seats. That's where it is. You have to have fans in the stands, concessions, your beer, your everything, because they're going to camp too. So it's nice if it's there. It's a heck of a facility. They can put on a good show. There's no doubt about it. So it's something I think they're really going to have to look at.
How many years have they raced there with the late models, Lucas?
3 or 4.
I think this is the third year.
The first year they just had a one-off deal where they ran one night, and then they had this. This might be the third year. It's either the second or third year of the Silver Dollar Nationals.
I was reading something online that they had signed a 3-year contract. So I don't know if that was after the first year. So that would mean there would be possibly one more year on the contract. Now, in that same thing that I read online, somebody suggested, what if they have a sprint car show in conjunction with the late models, have a sprint car late model show. So I don't know. I think they have to do something different. I don't know what the answer is, though.
I think that would be completely unnecessary, because the place is full if it's just sprint cars. And then you're going to go ahead and add the late models and add all that expense and have the same fan count. So really, I mean, yeah, it would be better experience, but the track would rubber up too. I don't think it would be a good deal if you had late models and sprints, but they fill the place with just sprint cars. I think right now we're just seeing that's not late model country. It's just not. That is sprint car country all day long. And the last thing, as far as the late models go, a little follow up here with RTJ and Huddy. 2 wins for Huddy last week. 2 wins, and I don't know. I mean, we talked about it. Burrows stayed with SSI. Is that the difference here? I mean, there's nobody disputing RTJ is one of the best drivers in the country. Huddy's a really good driver as well, but he looks light years ahead of where RTJ is right now. Is the common denominator in that the crew chief?
Well, it's definitely a combination probably of equipment and personnel on the race team. You know, yeah, RTJ went to a car owner who does own other cars and, you know, has been involved in the industry, but, you know, in a way RTJ is kind of starting from not total scratch, but, you know, it's not like he's stepping into an established ride like Huddy is.
Yeah, I mean, I think the equipment's probably about the same. I guess I don't know that for sure, but man, I tell you what, Huddy right now looks light years ahead of RTJ. Is RTJ going to figure it out before too long, or is he going to be in trouble come the championship chase at the end of the year?
I think he's going to figure it out. I thought he was really good up until Husitz. I thought he was just kind of okay. You know what I mean? Him and Huddy battled the top spot somewhere, one of them nights somewhere. But like Bert said, he hopped. You take any one of them top 10 guys in late model world and throw them in that SSI car, they're going to win. I don't care who you throw in that car, they're going to win. So it's definitely the crew chief. There's no doubt about it. It's going to take, it's going to take RTJ a little bit of time and a little bit different deal. I don't care where you go. You move, no different than, moving football teams or getting traded, or it's going to take some time. So he'll get there. I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, you hop in the best ride. A lot of pressure though, hopping in that best ride, and he's definitely stood up to the pressure.
For sure. All right, so I had a fan question coming here as well. This one came in from Dave. So, Coach Kraus and Ryan, how do you guys feel when you win a race, especially event, any kind of race, as a result of a disqualification? Kraus, have you ever been gifted a win as a result of a DQ?
I don't think I have, to be honest with you. I don't. I'm trying to think, but I don't. I really don't think. I don't think so. And to answer the question, the answer is no. You'll take a win every chance you can get, and especially if the guy's legitimately cheating, which is what happened. I'm sure this is leading into number 3 at Fiesta City Speedway. The guy's legitimately cheating. And he beats you. Well, he beats you for a reason. He was cheating, and you're not. So, I take the win, no doubt. If it's something stupid like a wheel sticker or seat belts outdated or something like that, I'd probably say, you know what, you can keep your money. I'll give me the second place check. I'd probably feel bad taking it from him then. But no, if he's legitimately cheating, I had no issues with taking that win.
Yeah, I got my first ever win by default. Brian Strand won, and he didn't go to Tech. And I got second behind him, and they DQ'd him. And I think his engine was overheating and all that. And it's just a bad deal. And that's how I got my very first win. Well, 3,000 plus Midwest Mod Special this past weekend, Fiesta City Speedway, Montevideo, Minnesota. Your winner, Jake Smith, talented driver. He's won a lot of races, but at post-race Tech, disqualified. So there's a rule, Bert, in Wissota. The lower arms, the left rear lower arm and the right rear lower arm, when you put an angle finder on them, the angle has to be within 5 degrees side to side. For example, if the left rear is, say, 18 degrees, the right rear 13 or more, and obviously can't be more. You're probably not going to have more angle on the right side, but it's got to be 13 or more. So it's got to be within 5. From my understanding, my sources say that he was over 10 degrees more angle on the left side than he was on the right side, which I had a phone call coming in, which is a huge advantage. Helps the car rotate, gives you more drive, does a lot of things. Now, I've heard a couple different things come out of this. I did a little checking. I don't know exactly what all the facts are. I know we got DQ'd, and I know it was for bar angles. Okay. Now, that could be one of two things. Okay. That could very well be you just flat out had too much bar angle in there and figured they weren't going to check it because, quite honestly, they typically don't. or somebody told me that I heard he had a lot of rebound, right? Or a lot of, I guess it would have been a lot of compression, my bad, in the left rear shock, a lot of low speed. And after tech, he just, the car never had a chance to settle. I don't know if that's true. My guess is you'd have to take the shock off, but the car is always up at ride height, or it's always up in yaw going around the racetrack anyway. But regardless, it was too much, and that's how Brandon Waite got the win. But hell of a win for him, over $3,000. That's one of the bigger Midwest Mod feature payouts of the season. You know, until we get into September, then there's some pretty nice ones. But that's a tough deal, and you know, I don't know, Kraus. I mean, I guess it's one of those things. Either he was flat out cheating, or it was a shock deal. I guess I don't know the facts for sure, but I guess a rule's a rule, and kind of got to figure out how they tech it. And hats off to the tech crew, right? I mean, we give tech committees a lot of shit, right? For like stuff like you said, wheel stickers and too many bolts across the back of the roof and all this nonsense. This right here is an absolute performance enhancing deal, and they took the time to tech this. Hey, that's a good thing. I guess I don't have a problem with that. And if you're a Jake Smith fan, you're probably going to send me hate mail for that one, but I guess it is what it is at this point. Congratulations, Brandon Waite. All right, number 2. Christmas comes early for Josh Skorcheski. So congratulations, brand new daddy. Had a little baby here about a week ago, right? And that's why he didn't race. There was something going on the past week where he didn't race. But needless to say, he was racing the Dakota Rumble. They got night 1 in. They did not get night number 2 in. Holy shit. Was that freaking mayhem? That was unbelievable. Bert, you watched that race, didn't you? The late model feature at River Cities?
I did not get a chance to watch that one.
There's a donkey award. There's a donkey award. Bert, we flat out told you that one right there is worth watching. Kraus, you watched it, right?
Yes, absolutely. I watched it. Brown County Speedway. You said River Cities, Ryan. I had to correct you there.
Brown County. My bad.
County.
My bad. Yeah, Brown County. Yes. One of the Dakotas, but Brown County. But holy shit. So NLRA race, night number 1 of the Rumble. Lap number 1. First things first, there's 4 major things that happened in this race. Lap number 1, Dustin Strand and Mitch Johnson get together. And it is a freaking parking lot in the middle of the front straightaway. I mean, a flat out shit show. Well, guys, my phone blew up. I had a bunch of messages come in regards to this race, and they're like, holy shit, did you see what Strand did? Well, I kind of watched it a handful of times. And yeah, Strand came down a little bit. Mitch didn't hit the brakes. I don't know. You make the call. I mean, Kraus, you saw it. I mean, is that Mitch's deal not hitting the brakes? Is that Strand coming down? What happened on that lap 1 altercation that took out probably half the field?
Yeah, it's a got to put a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure Mitch Johnson's got some laps at Aberdeen, and Strand does too. Not a lot. Mitch Johnson was part of one of the best late model races I've ever seen at the Winter Nationals back in, I don't know, 2000 or something. He's got some laps there, but it's you. I don't know if Ryan, you raced there a little bit. You come out of 4 up on the high side, you got to start turning down towards turn 1. It's almost like you got to take a left, or else you're going to end up in the grandstand or in the flag stand. And he came out, he's running the high side, and he was getting Mitch, and he was trying to get to the bottom to get to the next guy. And, he drove over top of Mitch. Was it intentional? I don't 100% think so. Was it hard, aggressive racing? Yes. Should he probably done that lap 1? Probably not. But that's one of the biggest late model pileups I've seen. There was cars everywhere. I mean, they were hauling them off. So, tough deal. A couple guys got back in it, but that was from lap 1. And obviously, when you see the DNFs and 12 through 26 is DNF, it was an exciting race anyway.
So then the race resumes, right? Like 3 hours later or whatever it was. It was a long yellow, long red. I mean, they were stopped. I mean, there was shit everywhere, right? Well, Matt Gilbertson was good. He gets the lead. And I mean, he's kind of he's gone. I mean, it looked like he was definitely going to win this thing. and he comes off turn number 2, and he freaking flat out trunks a freaking lapper. I mean, literally just pile drives him wide open. Well, in hindsight, sounds like that lapper rode way up. The camera kind of caught it late. At first, when I saw it, I'm like, holy fuck, Matt, what are you doing, guy? Well, the lapper was going to pull off the track, and it sounded, from what I understand, he was kind of low, and then he kind of shot up the track, and he was going to maybe go off the outside, and he went from going, 90 miles an hour to about 30 coming off turn 2, and I mean, he just folded the tent, and I'm guessing he probably rolled the bumper underneath because he ended up pulling off. But there goes him, right? So then Skorcheski gets the lead, right? Well, Dustin Strand passes him for the lead, and lo and behold, another altercation with Mitch Johnson. He's going to lap Mitch Johnson, and he literally he threw a lapper on a slider. Coming off of turn number 4, and he buried it in there and went to slide, and the lapper didn't lift, and Mitch had a big run coming off the high side there because you get a lot of speed coming off the top, and Mitch drove wide open into the back of the right rear, and right rear tire goes down on Strand. I had people say Mitch dirtied him on purpose because of lap 1. I don't know. Did he? Right? Was it a racing deal? Did Strand just come across and not have enough room? Did he maybe, when you slide somebody there, you kind of lose momentum coming off the corner and the guy has a big run on top? Was it just a racing deal where he just broke momentum and Mitch had a run? Was it Mitch is like, fuck that guy? Like after lap 1, I'm not lifting for him? I mean, I don't know. So what do you think, Kraus? I mean, you saw it.
I think it was a super aggressive slider. There's no doubt about it. And oh boy, just a nasty roll in the sprint car here at Lernerville. I think Mitch drove into him. I really do. I really think he was mad. I think because I know he was driving around the track pretty fast, and Mitch's car was shelled. There wasn't a straight piece on the thing at the end of the night. His nose was hanging there. His doors were hanging there. Everything was hanging there, and it happened real quick. I don't know if he had a chance to see that it was a 71 because Dustin was really aggressive with that deal with that lap car, but he didn't lift. Completely drove right into him, shredded that right rear tire, and shredded himself, and called it. They both called it a night.
Bert, there's more. There's more. There's more. So, closing laps. They come around. Here comes Mike Gresseth. So, Skorcheski got the lead back again, right? And he's just kind of minding his own business, kind of rolling. And here comes Gresseth charging inside of 5 to go, catches them. They take the white flag, passes them for the lead. Now, in 3 and 4 coming to the white, the announcer said, oh, we got a car off the top or whatever. Somebody went off the top. But they went under the white flag. Skorcheski was leading at the white flag. Okay. They come through 1 and 2, and Gresseth passes them for the lead. They go down the back straightaway into turn 3. They're going to come off at turn 4. The flames go up in the air in the infield like they're going to throw the checkered, and they throw the yellow flag, go green, white, checkered, and the lead goes back to Skorcheski. Kraus, was the yellow necessary?
I don't watch it on TV. No. I don't know if that guy that went off at turn 2, he was far enough out of harm's way. I don't know if he took the white. I really don't know. I don't know if he took the white. I don't know what their rule is in Aberdeen. I don't know if they count half the field or the leader takes the white. Every car has to take the white. But he was out in the Toolies. He was clear. I know if there was someone way out in the field back at Viking Speedway off of turn 2 or back straight on the last lap, he'd be sitting out there. You better get your butt back on the track. So I don't think it was super horrible deal for Gresseth. He got a super bad restart and just couldn't get her wound up again because he was running the top. So obviously a great win for Josh. I know he was super excited, hometown track, bunch of fans there, but it was a wild and crazy race. I don't think it would have changed for Saturday night or Friday or whatever night got rained out. That would have been a wild and crazy one too. So like I said, 12 through 26 was a DNF, Bert. That's a lot. That's a lot of wreck stuff for them late models.
Yeah, great win for Skorcheski. I mean, he might have been the only car left on the racetrack at the end of the race with no dents on it. Like, he just stayed out of trouble, minding my own business up front, and all this shit's happening. And okay, I'll take the lead back. Yep, okay, I'll take the lead back. Yep, okay, I'll take the lead back. And finally, he capitalized on the end. So congratulations to the 2S. All right, and number one, let's stick with some late models. Is this guy going to just flat out dominate another WISSOTA class? Shane Sabraski has that 7A late model dialed in. He got off to a little slow start, kind of had to kind of get his feet underneath him in the late model at the beginning of the year. Didn't look bad, but he just wasn't, the Shane Sabraski we're used to. And lo and behold, unbelievable. I mean, last week he wins 11,111 at Hibbing. This week he goes to the Twin 25s, gives him an ass beating in the first one. He wins again in Granite City, by far the best car on Sunday at Granite City. So 2 Challenge Series wins this weekend. I don't know, man. I mean, is he automatically, so TPO kind of has the most wins right now. Is Shane Sabraski cementing himself in the conversation for a championship run here in a WISSOTA late model in his rookie year?
I mean, I don't know the show comparison, but I mean, the way he's running the last couple of weeks, he definitely is in the conversation. And I mean, anybody who has as many feature wins as he has, it's not going to take him long to figure out a new division, whatever the division, whatever it is that he's racing. I mean, it could be I'm sure it could be a go-kart or a 4-cylinder or whatever it is. It won't take him long to figure it out and start getting feature wins.
No, he's been on a tear. So, I mean, what stuck out to you? You had 3 nights of racing action. You had the Twin 25s, you had Cedar Lake Month of Money, you had Granite City, 3 nights of Challenge Series action. Shane Sabraski had, the best car a couple of the nights. What else stuck out to you from these 3 events over the weekend?
Yeah, well, I think the main thing is the point leader. Cole Searing forced to hop into Steve Hukowski's car for Sunday after that bad wreck. Him and Daryl tangled in the heat race. Daryl Nelson tangled in the heat race at Cedar Lake, and they scrapped I know they posted some pictures, and they scrapped just to get the car out there just to start at Cedar Lake, and that baby's sitting down at Mars last I heard. So, and then, boy, a lot of money on the line in that Challenge Series, and he's been the hot guy. Searing come home with a 5th place finish in Steve Hukowski's car on Sunday to maintain that point lead. So I think that was a huge story, just with the point leader and, having, obviously TPO there. Car counts, Ryan. They went from 50 to 40 to 17 on Sunday. Weird, super weird to me. They've been pretty consistent this year with the car counts from track to track to track. At 40 some up our way and, kind of 30, 40 in the other range. So car counts were a little bit interesting. But overall, really good racing, competitive, a lot of parity. That series needs Cole Searing, Tyler Peterson, and Shane Sabraski. Kind of all different areas, TPO is kind of, central Minnesota, North Dakota, and then you got Searing come from South Dakota, and then you got Shane Sabraski and the other guys too. So it'd be interesting to see. Shane's got a long ways to go. He's only got 6 wins in that thing, and TPO's got 13 wins in the late model. And TPO, is not going to slow down. He's going to get his wins. So, but it's exactly what we need in WISSOTA racing right now is the 2 stars, Tyler Peterson, Shane Sabraski going at it, and Cole Searing and the other guys. But those guys going at it to win the Premier Division, the late model championship.
Absolutely. Bert, what stuck out to you? I got a few notes here, but I'm going to let you go first from them 3 races.
Well, at Cedar Lake, Sammy Mars had an impressive victory. I believe this was his highest paying show that he's ever won. But and I believe he started on the front row, but he fell back to like fifth early in the race. But he battled back and passed AJ, and I can't remember who else was running up front. Bargender. And so it was an impressive victory for him.
And it was even more impressive because he didn't make the show the night before, right? So he went to the Twin 25s, didn't even make the feature. And I guarantee a lot of people would hang their head and be like all dejected. It might affect their whole weekend. He rebounded, regrouped, went back out there and won the very next night out. And that's how it's done. So congratulations to him. A little bit of drama there too. So like Kevin Burdick got in some shit this weekend. You want to talk about struggle bus. I mean, him and Johnny Broking got together. Him and Provenzino had a little bit of altercations there. Provenzino felt like he brake checked him on a restart in the heat race, and end of the feature, Provenzino sent him for a ride. And then after the contact, lap one, I don't know if you saw it, but Burdick got TPO into the fence freaking hard. Pile drove him, and basically, I think Burdick's front end was all bent up from the original altercation. But did you see the incident last corner, last lap at the Twin 25s of the first feature? Johnny Broking and Don Shaw. Did you see that? I
saw the video clip.
Yeah, there's on the One to Go Show Facebook page, we have a clip, but then in the comments, there's another clip that's at a way better angle, and you can see it a lot better. Holy shit. So Johnny Broking's running fourth, Don Shaw's running fifth, and they go down the back straightaway, and I don't know, I mean, I'll just say it how it is. Broking rotated into the corner, wound up to kind of roll the middle, and Don Shaw must have forgot there was a corner there or something, because he freaking yard sailed that thing in wide open. I don't know if he was trying to slide him or what the hell he was doing, but Flatto drives all the way down the side of the 45J over his hood, busts his carburetor, rolls himself over. He's okay. And the call comes out, 45J caused that he gets the last. I'm like, you fucking out of your mind. I'm not going to lie. I had a moment. I did. I had a moment. I'm in the grandstands, and the passionate Ryan Aho fan came out. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I was fucking mad. I'm like, are you out of? I saw Joe Staria after that. I'm like, who's the fucking idiot that made that call? I'm like, how the hell do you do that? Right. And he's like, the corner guy made the call. We looked at it in the booth on the XR. We did the replay deal and literally did not get a good angle. And in his defense, he's not lying, because I went on the XR deal and I looked at it and it didn't catch anything until contact was already made. So, because I had people, my phone blew up after that one too. They're like, oh yeah, there you go. Don Shaw, sponsor of the Challenge Series. Oh yeah, Don Shaw, right? FYE show has a 100. They ain't gonna do nothing to Don Shaw. Are you shitting me? Don Shaw, he's a promoter. He's a Wasota's baby. My phone blew up, and the corner guy made the call, and I talked to Joe, and him and Chris looked at it up there, and they're not wrong. I looked at XR and I looked at the video clip and I slowed it down, and by the time they caught it on the XR film, the damage was already done. You couldn't tell who caused it, and obviously you're not going to go off somebody's Facebook Live video. I get it, but boy, it was one of those deals where there's a prime example of where having a corner guy in a better vantage point would have probably been good, but I don't know. Kraus, is that one of the worst calls you've seen in a while? I mean, that one seemed pretty easy to make, from my opinion.
Yeah, guy going in on the inside too hot, and you make the contact. He was on two wheels and airborne before they even got into the corner. So the worst part about that whole deal is they had another feature to run, and they both would have had decent starting spots with the invert 11. They have been, what's that, put them right around 6th, 7th, somewhere in there. 5th or 6th in the invert. Good money on the line. I think you maybe live to fight another day on that deal and go in there nice and light and drag race to the corner, not yard sale everybody. So that's a tough part about that. He lost two stellar cars. Couldn't race to the second feature.
It was for fourth, guys. It was for fourth. It wasn't for a win. It was for fourth. We're talking like $100, like literally. I think it was $850 for fourth. I think fifth was like $750, maybe $700. We're talking at most $150, and literally destroyed a car and busted a carburetor, tore up a bunch of shit on the 45J. It's like, come on, guy, you got to do a little bit better than that. That was I was a little I guess not overly surprised because I've maybe seen him make a lap or two in my day, but that was a little disappointing nonetheless. So with that said, let's jump into a little fan feedback, boys, brought to you by Hard Charger Performance Specialties. So Nick Hoff out in Sydney, Montana, he does it all. He's been building engines, guys, for over 20 years, street stock, street rods, late models, everything in between. It doesn't matter. He'll build it, but he does gears. He does a lot of different stuff. You're going to want to check out what he has. His number, 406-478-4437. Give him a call. Dyno time, right? If you're out in that area, you need a dyno. He does dynos. If you're a Wasota guy that has a crate, he's the engine repairer out in that area. But Nick Hoff he's built me engines. I've had, I know Provenzino's had them. Several people have had them. He lived up in northern Minnesota for quite a while. Got to know him very well, became a good friend of his, and cares about his customers, very passionate about winning and helping people do what they have to do to be successful. So give Nick a call, Hard Charger Performance Specialties. So we got one here from Jim. So this one came in late, coming in hot, guys. So XR own a modified deal going on at Davenport right now. Rained out tonight. It's Tuesday. We're doing the show. Monday they got it in. They're going to do the prelim show, the second prelim show, 4:00 on Wednesday, and then they'll have the finale, $20,000 to win. Well, Tyler Nicely making the trip over, UMP national champion last year, and DNF'd in the prelim night number one. Question for the racers in the group. So, Kraus, I'll ask you this question: would you just go home if you go there? You're in the prelim. It's Monday. You don't race against till Wednesday. You DNF. Now you're going to be buried. You're going to be in the back of a B main, right? $20,000 to win, back of a B main on Wednesday. Do you just say, fuck it, I'm going home? Are you out? Or are you going to stick around and race? What's your thoughts on that situation, on races that have a heats one day, features the next, or a 3-day deal where night number one goes bad, right? Is there any sense with that level of competition of even sticking around, or you're better off cutting your losses, going home, calling it a day?
Well, it's you gotta look at the format, okay? And I don't know if are they doing a total points deal? Do heat points count? It kind of sounds like they're just taking your couple guys transferred out of that feature. Correct? Is that what they did?
Not 100% positive. I think so, but I'm not positive.
You got to take a look at that. And, Tyler Nicely's, it's a little bit of a trek to get to where he was racing. He's kind of from down in that area a little bit, but I think he's a racer. I think he'll stay and race, but it's a legit question, especially if he can go back home or find a different show or do something. I know he's kind of had said he was going to sign on and run that deal. And he's been to the shows because he was at Mississippi Thunder, and I don't know if there's points involved or a payout at the end after that deal or what they're doing. So you got to take a look at the whole situation, but we've seen guys do it before. Dave Kane and a whole bunch of those guys went down to Mississippi Thunder and said, I'm not running alphabet suit, and they leave. You see it at the Chili Bowl. You see it at a lot of places. You see it more and more this day and age just because of the cost of racing. You're gonna run a D, a C, and a B, and burn tires and burn fuel and possibly wreck stuff for $150 check come out of a B feature. No, you're not. So you're starting to see it more, but more and more it's a money thing. People, hey, I can't afford to run that many races or tear up equipment and just start 26th in a A to hope we get up there. Back in the day, Ryan, we'd stay there. We'd hash it out and we'd get mad and we'd want to come through that B and we'd do it. But this day and age, things are a little bit different.
And that's one thing I like about the Wasota 100 format. There's things I don't like about it, but one thing I do like about it is this. It's a multi-day format. And if if you have a bad night number one, your week's not over, right? Your week's not over. So in my mind, you just run a full show night one, a full show night two, and you do the inside row, outside row, because now, I mean, he's basically his week's essentially over. Let's just say it is what it is. But if they did a deal like the Wissota 100, hey, night one went bad, and we're going to go ahead, we're going to redo this deal on night number two and line up the outside row, that gives that person the incentive to stay, in my opinion. So something to think about, but that's a good question. Myself, with the cost of everything right now, I'd probably go home. I mean, there'd be no sense starting unless it's time trials matter and heat points matter and all that, and you're going to be starting like in the front of a B, then maybe you stick around. But if you're going to be buried in a B main, there, in my opinion, cut your losses, go home, live to play another day, head down to the Prairie Dirt Classic, do what you got to do. All right. Got another one here. This one coming from Joe. Do you guys get a chance to see the Midwest Mod A main at Ogilvie, Bert?
I did. I watched this instead of that late model race. So.
Attaboy. All right. Interesting. No, I'll be honest, right? Ashley Boyum won. I'm an Ashley Boyum fan. Glad she won. It was cool to see her get in victory lane. But Joe says this. He's like, hey, nothing against Ashley getting the win. Okay, congratulations to her. But how the hell does a restart like that happen in the first place? So first and second battling for the lead, and contact's made, and they both get dead sideways. The second place car eventually spins out, right? The contact was caused by the inside car, kind of a late spin. Interesting deal. Well, sounds like there was some drama, right? Sounds like the drama, like they were bickering back and forth. They didn't know who to put to the back. They're like, well, the inside guy drove into that car and got him sideways. And then other officials are like, yeah, but he kind of had it saved and spun out an hour later, right? So I don't really know, right? So they couldn't decide who to put to the back. Well, when the contact happened, Ashley Merworth Ashley Boyum got by them both. They make about a lap and they throw the yellow flag, and they don't go back a lap or nothing. They give her the lead. They put those drivers second and third. She goes on to win the race. Bert, your thoughts on that deal?
Somebody's got to go to the back. If they can't decide who, then they both go to the back. But you can't have a caution and nobody goes to the back, because otherwise in the future, guys are just going to be slamming and banging. It's like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get my spot back if the caution comes out. So somebody's got to go to the back.
I saw Tom Nesbitt. That was one of the highlights. I actually got to see Tom Nesbitt and visit with him a little bit when I was at Gondikla Speedway. He would have shot somebody. Like he would have killed somebody over that deal. Like he would have freaked out. There would have been cops called. But not only did they not go to the back, then randomly they don't go back a lap, and she inherits the lead. It's like, if you're going to throw a yellow, you typically go back a lap. She should be in third. I mean, I'm all for you got to send somebody to the back, but then her inheriting the lead was just kind of a weird deal all around. But Kraus, your thoughts when you saw that deal?
Yeah, well, after watching it was, as a racer, Ryan, it was that number 5 car that drove into, correct?
Yeah.
If he would have spun out right where he got hit, his car would be on the frame rack right now, because he had the rest of the field coming through. Okay. And I think he realized that, and he kept going. And then he realized, like, oh, I saved it. And then he kind of soft spun up the hill. He did that to get out of the way. He 100% did. If he would, like I said, if he would have spun out there, there would have been a 25 car pileup right there. So you got to take that into consideration. My big thing is they completely did not score a lap. I don't know how you can do that. You got to go back to 3, throw somebody to the back. It's simple deal. I get it. But here's the other issue is Joey Jensen was sitting back there going, he got on Facebook and said, what's going on? What in the world's going on here? He's sitting in 4th or 5th thinking, oh boy, these two guys just tangled. I'm going to move up a spot. I'm going to have a chance to win. And he's still restarting in the 3rd row. So now you just screwed over the 15 cars that were behind you. Now you got all them mad. So you have to take that in consideration there, that you just, at the end of the day, you got to make a call. You've got to throw one in the back, throw them both to the back or whatever, go back and start with 3 to go, not with 2 to go, because now your scoring is all completely, doubled up. So you just got to sit back, use your head, think, and make the right call.
Yeah, they kind of butchered that one, but I guess they'll chalk that one up. Hopefully they learn from it down there in Ogilvie. And the last one here comes from Southern Minnesota race fans. So, Bert, we talked about on the show here a while back about at some point there's going to be some drama, right, with one of these youth racers and an adult and an altercation and a post-race deal. Well, it sounds like we got it. Chateau Speedway. Now, driver, you can go on my race pass because they're still investigating this deal. You can look at Chateau Speedway USRA B mod feature and you can see who got DQ'd there. But unless you guys want to say the name, that's fine too. But this guy here, dang near 30 years old, allegedly was pissed off at a 15-year-old kid in the pits and went in, and sources are saying, and there's a lot of people saying that like he was throwing haymakers at the 15-year-old kid in his car, and he ended up in jail. He got bailed out of jail. They brought him to jail, right? So he gets DQ'd. Unbelievable. I mean, your thoughts on this? I mean, did you see this coming? And what your thoughts on this deal as a whole?
Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, we talked about this a few weeks ago, and yeah, I guess you probably could have predicted it was going to happen sooner or later. But I mean, if you're an adult, I mean, I understand, you're passionate about racing and, in the heat of the moment, you do things, but I mean, you shouldn't be doing that to anybody, but let alone, somebody, that's under 18. I mean, because, yeah, you're not going to just get in trouble at the track. You're going to get in trouble with the law.
100%. Kraus, back in the day, you go back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you see somebody next to you with a spot over beating on a 15-year-old kid. What happens?
Yeah, well, you're going to get your butt whooped. There's no doubt for sure. There's going to be a big scene over there. And I'm pretty sure I said it when we talked about this before. Something's going to happen. There's going to be an incident. Like I said, you can't drive down the street, but you can race a race car. You know what I mean? I don't, it's just, I get we need youth in our sports. I 100% get that. And I got multiple drivers at Viking Speedway right now that are under 16, So it's a super tough deal. It's not going to be the only incident. I'm telling you that much right now. You're gonna have to understand who it is, and if you got something to say, you better go after the dad, and go at it. Those or don't do nothing. But it's the heat of the moment, Ryan. You've gone after drivers. I've gone after drivers. I don't know, Bert. You being a pit guy, I don't know if anybody's ever come after you. If anybody ever came, guys have gone after my pit guys, and I do not put up with that. That's when I really lose my cool if someone goes after my pit guys. But it's an issue, and it's getting to be more and more and more and more youth drivers out there. So it's something that needs to be watched, and I think the sanctioning body's got to get something in place and help protect some of this deal. And they sit in a car and they sign a waiver just like everybody else does. You know what I mean? So. But now all of a sudden you're getting into legal stuff. Beating up a kid under 18 is a different ballgame. But it's going to be an issue, and sanctioning bodies got something that I really think it's something they got to look into and figure out. Make sure we got to help these kids out and keep them safe.
Yeah, it's a tough deal, right? Because I read a lot of comments on this, and from both sides of it, and valid points on both sides. It's like, let's just be honest. You got 13, 14, 15-year-old kids that don't understand the value of a dollar, and they're yard sailing stuff in there, and mom and dad work all week long to pay for that thing, and somebody else is paying for the car they just destroyed, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go play video games. They might work on the car, but it ain't their nickel, right? It's not. They don't understand what just happened there and all the money that got spent. So that's a little concerning, because some of them kids drive hard, and there's some really good drivers that are young. So that's not all of them. But on the flip side, it's like, literally, if you're not smart enough to not punch a 15-year-old kid, then you're the problem, right? I mean, there's never a reason to go start punching a 15-year-old kid as an adult. I mean, sounds like they're really doing some extensive research onto what happened here. He could very well be banned from USRA, multiple tracks. I mean, and rightfully so. You start beating the shit out of a kid, and as an adult, we don't need you at the racetrack. It is what it is. So let's jump into a little rapid fire, boys. Brought to you by Daytona 1 Performance Lubricants. Buck, the founder of Daytona 1 and the Hall of Fame for NASA, very, very smart individual, passionate about saving people money, specifically in motorsports, making stuff last longer. One of the great products he has, tire treatment, right? And I get it, right? It's voodoo. It's like, oh man, tire treatment. Oh gosh, it's voodoo. Well, you know what's voodoo? Paying $200 for a fucking tire. Okay, that's voodoo, and that's coming. Right now, drivers are paying about $150 for a mod tire, and north of that for late model tires. A lot of drivers running on one night, 2 nights. You can't do that as a weekend warrior. It just does not make financial sense to be putting tires on every single night. This product here is going to be a solution to that, because this product here will allow drivers to run those tires longer. Why it's not legal, totally beyond me, right? It's not legal because of lack of education. So if you're a promoter, if you're a board member, if you're on the tech committee, do yourself a favor and get educated on what this product is all about. I know people that use it, have had great results with it, are running their tires longer. They're more competitive. And at the end of the day, you got to weigh that out. Do you want to go flat broke, completely broke, and be doing tire work every single night? Or do you want to get a little bit more life out of your tires? That's one of the products they have, and many more. Give Chad a call, 507-828-3536. Get educated on what this product can do for dirt track racing, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So let's just jump into, if you guys have a couple tidbits, you can throw them out there. But a little who's hot, who's not here. Rapid fire. Bert, we'll start with you. You can if you can roll any way you want. If you have a few tidbits that you have, if whoever you have on the hot list, not list, the floor is yours here for rapid fire.
Well, just a few things from Eastern Wisconsin. The King of the Creek was ran last week. Coach's favorite race of the entire week. Luke Lemons won the race. It was the first time he's ever won this race, and he's one of the top competitors in the division who also doesn't race in other divisions, at the same time. And so he won that $10,000 to win. Outagamie County Speedway, Mike Mullen won that feature. Nick Avalink won the feature at Shawano Speedway in the late model division. So those are the some of the top feature winners from Eastern Wisconsin. Oh, and
you got anybody hot and anybody not?
I just want to mention Taylor Scheffler won at Plymouth Dirt Track. He won the feature there. And nationally or locally, are you talking?
Whatever you got.
I mean, obviously, nationally, Bobby Pierce, even though he didn't win the big feature, he still won two out of the 3. So he stayed hot. And obviously, David Gravel, I'm picking the low-hanging fruit here.
Any knots? Any knot list for you?
Well, not hot. I'm going to go, it was only 3-4 weeks ago we were talking about how Carson Macedo was just on a roll, and he was closing in on the points lead in World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, and he's hasn't been a top runner anymore. Now he's dropped to 3rd in the standings, 98 points out of 1st, so he's cooled off a little bit over the last several weeks.
Yeah, he sure has. Coach Kraus, what do you got?
Well, I got hey, let's put on a big sport or stock car show, Bert, and get 80 some cars and 58 of them run 3 heat races and then got to go home. Like what's going on, Bert? Like, come on. Like, seriously, 58 cars, Ryan, ran 3 heat races to get into the A main. Was it $10,000 to win?
$10,000 to win, yeah.
I don't know. We're in the wrong. We're in the wrong industry, Ryan. We need to get 83 cars out there and then tell 58 of them you're only getting 3 heat races to try to get into the show. It's whatever. I just had to vent on that. Now that you brought it up, Bert, you made me even more angry. So
No, I mean, I'm not defending it. I mean, it's just one of the top races in Eastern Wisconsin. That's just the format that they do for all of their 10,000 to win shows. But
Well, explain how that works. What do you mean by 3 heat races? Explain how that works to the crowd.
So, well, as far as I know, they had double heats on, I don't even know what night it was. Was it Monday, Tuesday?
Yeah.
It was Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever it was. So Tuesday they ran double heat races. Okay, kind of like what they do at the Little Dream. You know what I mean? We go out there, you run double heat races, you get points, passing points, invert the whole 9 yards, and then they line you up again the next night. Okay, for the heat races, and I believe it was 5 heat races. Correct, Bert? The top 2 from each heat race went to the A.
Technically, technically those are B mains.
Well, then call them B mains, so it doesn't sound like a heat race.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Okay, but it wasn't because because places 3, 4, 5 in each heat race went to the B main. Okay,
they went to a last chance race.
Same difference, Consi. You're Wisconsin's on them DFLers over there. Okay, go on. We're going to call it the last chance race so we don't make everybody, oh, I want a B feature. Back in the day, it was a Consi. Remember, Ryan? CONSI. I won the Consi. Oh, yeah, well, who cares, buddy? So they take positions 3, 4, 5, and they put you to B main. Positions 6 through 12 in each heat went home. You had to stay the whole night, the whole day, and you got 12 laps, and you got to go home. Like I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, they'll get 83 cars. They'd have 3,000 cars if they did it the right way. But I didn't care for the format, and I mean, I don't know. I want more. If you're gonna have a $10,000 win race, I want more chances to get in the, call it something else on that Wednesday. But it is what it is. So I'm done venting, Bert.
Okay.
Comment below. What do you think of Krause's opinion of that race? Comment below if you watched that race. All right, I want to hear everybody else's thoughts on this. What else you got, Krause?
Well, hopefully there's going to be a brawl in this high limit race because Tyler Courtney and McFadden were 1 and 2, and neither of them finished, and they took each other out. So hopefully there's a brawl going on right now. Rico Abreu just won the race, FYI. So I'm pretty sure hopefully there's a brawl in the pits right now.
Nice.
I got one shout out. I got to get a shout out to my, the reason why I'm doing this, we brought up the young kids. Connor Bruss, Ryan. I told you about Connor Bruss. He's a 13-year-old kid who runs a Pro 4 Modified. He's from the Alexandria area here. Got a heat win on Sunday at Granite City and third place finish at Granite City. And if you're doing that as a 13-year-old, because you're running against the Holquists and the Boddens, there's some tough competition over there. So Connor Bruss, he's a hockey player. I coached him from when he was about 5 to 9 years old. Good family. Good to see him doing well in the Pro 4. And another young kid, grew up running Runestone Raceway over here, Bert and Ryan, next to the go-kart track. Grew up running over there, and now he's into Pro 4. I think they're going to get into a Midwest mod next year. So good to see the young kids, especially in this area, doing well and then being involved in the sport. So hot list, you got to go turbo, man. I had him last week. That's a huge win last night for him. That was a really big win, especially with the competition. So, and he got 4th at Huset's, guys. All the competition there. He started 13th and got 4th at Huset's at the Silver Dollar. So he's one of the top guys right now. I say he hasn't had the competition at the Health Tour. Be interesting to see how he does this weekend. So Turbo is definitely hot. It's obviously Shane Zabrowski in the late model. Clipping away wins, clipping away podiums, big money races. He's always on the line. So my not hot list, guys, you got to go Jonathan Davenport. He won the Dream, correct? And then he won the Lucas Oil Nationals, correct? He ain't done nothing since. Okay. So my question is he testing right now? They working on some things for the Final Four? He's going to be in it. Okay. RTJ kind of had that last year, and some other guys are doing it. So he just doesn't. They interview him, and it just kind of seems like kind of ho hum. So I know. I think Bert's got him. Did you? Someone's got him in their pick 'em. Bert took him. Yeah, you took him in your draft today, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So he takes Superman. I was going to take Batman. I didn't know what we were drafting, but he took Superman. Locally, not hot. Ryan, I got to go Terrence Basic. He won those 3 in a row there. Since then, he's only raced 3 times, and he's got all DNFs except for 1. Like, he's raced 3 times since that June swing. Like, I've raced more than that, and I only race once a week. So, and then he's got 2 DNFs to boot. So I know there's a super stock swing this weekend. See if he's obviously over in his neck of the woods over there. Maybe he's saving his stuff, the money on the line. Who knows? But we talked about him being hot, mopping up, and then all of a sudden, where's he been for the last month? So that's my hot and not shout outs. And hopefully we get some comments on 141 Speedway, because I'm still fired up about that deal.
Absolutely. Well, I got so as far as my rapid fire goes, US MTS racing. I mean, let's face it. I don't know that there's more exciting racing as far as open wheel modifieds go in the country. I mean, that one night, like, it seems like the top 3 all came from like 12 or further back, 12th, 14th. They're like driving to the front, nonstop passing, really good racing. Car counts are down there though too, right? A whole bunch of US MTS races, car counts in the low 20s. I never thought I'd see that. Is the regional point deal hurting that? Should they have stuck with the national point deal? Hard to say. Hindsight is 2020. Another thing here is a lot of one-off shows. So Canby race, guys, on Thursday last week, they had a one-off show in Canby on a Thursday against Wilmer. If you're going to have a one-off show, what are you fucking doing, right? Like, you can't have a one-off show against your closest track. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. They had like 5 and 6 cars and everything. Them things work pretty good. I know down at Fairbolt, they had a good crowd, and Barnum and Aiken do some stuff, and they have like a one-off deal, and the crowd's jam-packed. Please, if you're going to do a one-off deal, at least schedule it around the neighboring tracks. They could have did that deal on a Wednesday. They could have did it on a Tuesday. They didn't have to go head-to-head with Wilmer. Made 0 sense to me. Massively disappointed in that. On the hot list, I'm going to go Johnny Broking. Another pair of wins. He's got a domination chassis out there. Carlos, did you know that thing's a left rear swing arm? He's got a swing arm on the left rear.
No.
Yeah, only swing arm left rear swing arm car in Wissota racing, as far as I know. And he's been pretty darn good. Pair of wins this weekend. One of them was against Sobraski. They both started second row. He got the whole shot, drove away. Sobraski never got close enough to make a threat. So Broking with a couple wins probably would have had 4th. Started 8th, would have had 4th in the Twin 25 had he not got completely garbaged by Don Shaw. So Broking kind of heating up, a lot of money on the line this weekend for him. And then, of course, Shane Sobraski. I mean, he is transitioning. We're talking a lot about Searing, a lot about TPO, rightfully so. Those two are extremely talented, 2 of the best in Wissota without question. But Shane Sobraski's heating up in 7A. He's going to be very, very tough to beat come invite time. David Simpson in the Midwest Mods right now is kind of separating himself from the pack. Yes, you got Rodine. Yes, you got Joey Jensen. There's probably a few others there. But David Simpson from Thunder Bay right now separating himself from the pack a little bit here in the Wissota Midwest Mods, making a national title run. And I don't know. I think Tom Nesbitt might be the only driver to ever win a national championship from Thunder Bay. I know that Weiss and them from the Winnipeg area have done it, but that would be big. They got a lot of culture up there. So if you're a Thunder Bay fan, you may or may not be a David Simpson fan, but I tell you what, you got one of your own right now looking in very, very strong contention for a national championship. That's pretty cool for a Thunder Bay car. And Mike Stearns. in the modified division, not a lot of drivers really in contention for a natty. Stearns has been one of the guys that's been consistently finding victory lane. And we'll talk about the other guy he's competing with in just a second. But Stearns, if he can stay consistent, rattle off a couple wins a week, he's going to be in very strong contention for a natty himself. On the not hot list, I'll go right back to the mods, Kevin Buzzy Adams. He started out strong. He's still leading the way. He has the most wins out of anybody in Wissota mods right now. But man, he's falling out of races. Some of it is the pull-off game, not running good, going to pull off. But I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, I don't know how many weeks in a row Kennedy Swan can drive by the 40. I mean, she's literally driving by him like almost every week over there, passing him. And yeah, he beat her, but they battled and she beat him. I think it was Rice Lake or wherever they were Saturday. I think it was Rice Lake. She beat him there. She's got the fastest car in Wissota in modified racing. I'm not saying she's the best driver. She's pretty good. She's not the best driver. But if Kevin Adams switched cars with her, he'd be way more fast because her car is incredible. But Buzzy's on he's kind of on the schneid a little bit right now. Pat Dorr. When is the last time Pat Dorr went back-to-back Challenge Series races and did not make the feature? Ever? Wow. I'm going to go with never. Probably never, right? He didn't make the show at the Twin 25s. He got a past champions provisional, and then he didn't make the show at Cedar Lake, his own track. How long is it going to be, guys, before Pat Dorr takes that new rocket and cuts it up and sells it for scrap? Because he is 100% a non-factor. You want to talk about a humbling sport? Let's face it, Pat Dorr is literally one of the best Wissota late model drivers to ever sit behind the seat of a Wissota late model. And right now, he is completely not competitive at all in any way, shape, or form. It's painful to watch the Double One Express. Kevin Burdick. You want to? I mean, he has had a better night last night or a couple nights ago at Granite, but man, oh man, I mean, you want to talk? I mean, a lot of it bad luck, some of it self-inflicted, but it's like he's kind of has that thing of if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Kevin Burdick is going through a complete down spell right now. Got to turn that shit around. The 30 car not looking good. And last on the national scene, Mike Marlar. It was not too long ago we talked about Marlar as being a national title, a contender to get into the Final Four, and he has just been a non-factor as well in super late model racing. So there's our hot, there's our not. You got some comments below. Shoot us some comments. It's always fun to hear some different stuff. But let's jump into the 2024. Go ahead, Bert.
I have a couple. I forgot when you brought up USMTS. Did you see I'm assuming you watched the races. Did you see that when Sanders spun out and then there's like a 5-second pause and then the announcers go, well, the caution was brought out due to debris on the track. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Some questionable stuff there. I'm going to say some questionable stuff. Yes, that did happen.
And then I just want to say probably the heartbreak of the week has to go to Hot Sauce, who was leading that high limit race at Eldora with like 7 laps to go, and going into one, he got into the wall and rolled it, and you could tell he was very dejected after that.
Yeah, and he knew he did it to himself because he smacked the wall before that open red, and I don't know if he heard anything there or not, but he smacked the wall again, and he hit it hard enough to tumble, and he was pretty apologetic to the pit crew after that one. All right, 2024 Pick'ems brought to you by Brad Parsons Soil and Ag Solutions. So if you're in Western Minnesota, the Dakotas, you're looking to be more profitable and have higher yields in farming, give Brad a call, 320-219-3542. And I have people I know, right, friends of the show, that have used his product. They were testing it and are ecstatic with the results. It is worth a phone call to learn about the products they have to see if it can help you in 2025 and beyond. All right, last week, Coach, not only did you get a podium, but you had the most points out of the group last week too. 17 for Coach Kraus. And then it just goes down from there. Dano had 15, Changa 14, Rainman had 13, I had 11, Bert and Man Bun Dan had 10, Bromance 9, Beefcake 7, Uper had 6, and Worker Bee 4. Come on, guy. That's a struggle bus there. 4. We're gonna put you on the not hot list. Worker Bee on the not hot list. All right, our standings right now: Rainman at 226, Changa at 216, within 10. 71A's at 198, Dano and Bert at 181, Worker Bees at 170, Coach here at 167, Uper at 164, Man Bundan at 154, Bromance 146, and Kenny the Barber Beefcake at 142. And he got a head start, guys. We slotted him into the third spot, and good old Barber there is on the struggle bus. So this week's picks, and kind of an interesting deal. So the top point earner at the end of the year is going to get to pick a car we sponsor. So Brad Parsons Soil and Ag Solutions, Impact Health Sharing, Worker Bee threw in some money, and we're going to throw some money. If you want to participate in this, if you want to be like, hey, it's kind of cool, I'll throw $100 in. That money's going, we're not taking any of it. It's going to go directly to a racer, and we want to be able to give back. And we're going to talk more about that on next week's show, Giving Back, because you guys hear what Brock and Dana Grunwald are doing in Fergus. They got a pretty sweet deal over there, and I want to make sure we give them an ample amount of time. I want to talk a little bit about that, but they're giving back to the racing community. Very important to do. Hats off to them. But we're going to talk more about that next week. But this is a way for the One to Go show to give back. So if you want to kick in a little bit towards that, if you're a business and you want to get a shout out, you want to sponsor that, let us know. That money's going to go directly to a racer or multiple racers in 2025. So I'm going to name off the shows. You guys name who we have. This week, World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, BAPS on Wednesday, Williams Grove Friday, Saturday, Weedsport on Sunday. Bert, who do you got?
Gravel all the way.
Ooh, Bert. Come on,
Coach?
Bert. We're changing that rule next year, by the way. And we're also we also need to add sweet points, okay? Because my Brainiac swept the Challenge Series last week. I picked all 3 winners. That's basically impossible to do. So I'm just saying we should get a bonus point. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. So I got gravel shots for the sweep at Williams Grove and gravel.
It's kind of ridiculous what Bert did, right? With gravel.
You guys have been doing it all season.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That's what I did too. I'm just saying. I have gravel ×4 also. But Kraus is right. We are changing that rule next year. We're not going to be able to pick the same guy every night. But that's for next year. High limit sprint cars, that happened tonight. That race is already done. And I had Sunshine Tyler Courtney, which sounds like it did not work out very well. Bert, who did you have?
I had Sweet.
You got
Coach?
third, Bert. Yeah, I had Kyle Larson. I appreciate it. Thanks for showing up, Kyle. Getting out to Lernerville, you're already out in that area. You're at Indy at the Brickyard. Figured you just hop right on your plane, have someone haul your car, all your buggy, whatever you guys call them, and you could show up and actually support your series and support the fans that came to watch you tonight. But no, of course, you don't even show up.
Yeah, he texted me. He said, I see Coach picked me. Yeah, fuck that guy. Not going. Not going. All right, Castro, Flow Racing Night in America. Interesting deal here, right? So they're running a Castro Flow Racing Night in America show Wednesday at Fairbury. Thursday's an off day, and then they're going to race Friday and Saturday at Fairbury. Not sure about this with the crowds and how that's all going to work, but it is what it is. Who do you guys have for falls on Wednesday?
Pierce.
Bobby Pierce.
Smooth operator Bobby Pierce. That's who we all have. And then we have the Prairie Dirt Classic on Saturday. Did something interesting here. So everybody in our group picked Pierce. And then we decided, it's no sense picking them if we all have the same person. And so we made the executive decision that we're going to repick. Nobody can pick Pierce. And then we also decided, you know what, let's do something fun. And we're doing a draft, 4 rounds. And we kind of working through that. I'm the next pick right now in round number 3, but we had shit to do for the show. But we're doing 4 rounds, and we're going to kind of have a Calcutta there. But we're only, for this portion, we're only picking Saturday's A main. Bert, who do you have?
Huddy.
Coach?
Turbo.
And I went with Huddy as well. Got to stick with the 71s there. All right. So we all had Pierce, but Pierce has never won that race. He's won everything else at Prairie Dirt Classic. He has not won that one. You know who I want to win at the Prairie Dirt Classic? The One to Go Show. That's who I want to win, because we bought one of them Falls Draw tickets for $1,000. Step number 1 is to get drawn out, get on the big board, and then you get matched up with the driver. The top 8, if your driver finishes in the top 8, you get paid. If your driver wins, you get $50,000. That would be super cool. So I'm cheering for us to get picked, and then whoever we have, that's who I'm cheering for at the Prairie Dirt Classic. All right. XR Super Series Dirt Late Models at Davenport. Now, they raced Monday. Tuesday rained out, not getting rescheduled. Who did you guys have? I had Pierce.
I had Pierce.
I had Pierce as well.
Kind of a given right now. That's the guy to go with. XR Onum Modifieds, One Nation Under Modified. Barry Braun put that together. The prelims Monday, Tuesday. Now it's Monday and earlier in the day on Wednesday, and then the finale for $20,000 to win. Bert?
I had O'Neill last night, then Strickler and Tim.
Okay. Coach?
Bert, don't even start me with that hack, Jake O'Neill. Took my guy out last night. So I had Tyler Nicely last night, and O'Neill took him out. I got Tom Berry Jr. Looking like tomorrow during the day, and I had Tyler Nicely winning it too.
I don't think that's going to happen there, Coach. I think you're kind of fucked on that
wait.
one.
I just as long as he makes the A and takes out Jake O'Neill, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Now for sure, I think he should go home. I had Jim Chisholm, Jake Tim, Jim Chisholm. That's who I had. Jim Chisholm was way tight last night. None of us picked Dillard, and that's probably who we should have picked. All right, Dirt Race Central Street Stocks making a trip to Wisconsin. Thursday, Friday at the Red Cedar Speedway in Menominee, Wisconsin. Saturday at the Cedar Lake Speedway. All of that on Dirt Race Central. You're going to want to check that out. Street stock racing is awesome. Bert, who do you have?
Egan, Vogel.
Coach?
Andrew Hansen, Braden Brower.
I have Cody Coomer ×3. I want the local guy, Cody Coomer. Fast Lane Superstock Series, Saturday, Ogilvie Raceway. Sunday, Granite City Motor Park to cap off the 2024 season of the Fast Lane Motorsport Superstock Series.
Cook ×2.
I got Dexton on Saturday and Sabraski on Sunday.
As do I. I have Dexton Cook and Shane Sabraski. NLRA late models. Thursday, Victory Lane Speedway up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Friday, the River City Speedway in Grand Forks. And Saturday at the Devil's Playground, Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Bert.
Thursday I have Schill, and I'm not sure where he's racing, but I'm going with TPO the next 2 nights.
Coach?
I got Dustin Strand on Thursday and TPO the next 2 nights as well.
I have Shane Edgerton on night number 1, and then I have TPO at River Cities and Dustin Strand at Devil's Lake. Dirt Kings late models over in eastern Wisconsin, Friday at Anago and Saturday at Shawano. Bert?
I have Springborn at Anago and Anvilink at Shawano.
Coach?
I got Nick Anvilink both nights.
As do I. Nick Anvilink both nights. Schaefer's Oil Southern Nationals. Did they rain out tonight, or did they get them in?
They rained out.
They rained out. Okay. So then we got Thursday at Toccoa, Friday at North Georgia, Saturday at Tazewell to cap off the 2024 season. Bert?
McIntosh, McDowell.
Coach?
I got McDowell all 3 nights.
I got Zach Mitchell at Toccoa and then McDowell the next 2. KME presents 4 nights of Wissota late model racing. $2,500 to win in Grand Rapids on Thursday, $5,000 to win at the Gondakla Speedway in Superior, Wisconsin Friday. Saturday, $5,000 to win in Hibbing, Minnesota. Sunday, $2,500 to win at Proctor. Bert, who do you got?
Broking and then Sobraski the next 3 nights.
Okay. Coach?
I got Sobraski, Burdick.
So Bert, one of us is going to be screwed here because if he goes to all 4 of these, he ain't going to be at the Superstock race. I have Sobraski, Johnny Broking at Hibbing, Kevin Burdick at Proctor. Montevideo Fiesta City Speedway modified special, $1,500 to win Friday night. Bert, who do you got?
Cook.
No. Modified.
Oh. Heinrich.
Nate Heinrich. Okay, the Superstock one got rescheduled, so we're taking that off the board.
Oh, okay.
Coach,
okay.
Yep, Coach Kraus?
Brian Hobbin.
That's what I got. Great minds think alike. We're going to take Brian Hobbin to get her done. K-Town Clash USRA B-Mod special down at Mississippi Thunder Speedway on Friday.
Ryan Olson.
Wow, the trifecta. We all got flying Ryan Olson. And last but not least, late models, $2,000, I believe, to win Rice Lake Speedway Saturday night. Bert?
All right. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Barringer?
Door?
No,
Door, that's real tough. Bargender?
Yeah. he won Bargender.
Isn't it bar?
just like Thonies.
Nice. There you go. Bargender. There you go. Which bathroom are you going in? The bargender one. That's what we're going in. All right. Coach?
Chad Mater.
Jesus. That's why I have. You copying my freaking picks here, Carlos, or what the hell we got going on here?
No, you're copying mine. I won last week.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. 3 bold predictions brought to you by the editor of our show, Coach.
Yes. Elevate-visual.com video productions. Get a hold of Brandon. He does awesome work. He's a racing guy now. He does all the production for the Wissota 100. He does the Boone Super Nationals. He travels to Florida. He travels to Arizona. He does the Viking Speedway video production, does the Alexandria Blizzard hockey team Blizzard video production. So make sure you get a hold of Brandon. He does drone work. So if you're a realtor, make sure you get a hold of him. He's got videos out there, elevate-visual.com. You can also find him on Facebook.
Awesome. All right. So we had some stuff come off the board this past week. Bert, you said the Lucas Oil races would have at least four different winners of the 5 nights. Well, Heidi won 2, Pierce won 2, and so that was not the case. You got that one wrong. You also said at 141 at the King of the Creek? Is that what it was called?
Yes.
It would be an all Wisconsin podium. Now, our buddy here, Randall shot us over a message and said, "This is a bad beat. Got to give you a little shit." Bert, how do you get this wrong? 83 cars, and there was literally only 6 non-Wisconsin cars there. And you still got it wrong. The second place guy was from Iowa.
Well, but the thing is, he's originally from Wisconsin. He moved to Iowa about 10 years ago.
Okay. All right. All right.
That's not even bold. We should throw that up. Were you literally on all 83 cars?
And he got it wrong.
Oh my gosh, Bert.
Yeah, we got to throw this one out.
Yeah, no, he got it wrong. Yeah. And then you said Jake Tim would podium every night in the USMTS races. Not his best week. He did not. All right. I had 3 come off the board. I said USMTS, the point lead was going to be down to 10 points or less. It's at 24. Did not get, it's close, but not quite as close as I thought. Jake Tim with a 24-point lead over Joe Chisholm right now. And then I said Cole Searing would have a better average finish than Tyler Peterson, would have at least 1 win, and would have at least 2 podiums. Cole Steering did not have a good week, but so that did not happen. And then I said Hudson O'Neal would have a better average finish than RTJ this week, and that did happen. Ding, 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 ding. Coach, you had 2 come off the board. Lucas Oil, 5 different winners. I mean, you're going bold. I mean, you do understand that with bold predictions, but you kind of want to get some right. So that was wrong. There was 3 different winners. And Challenge Series, you said there was going to be 9 different podium drivers. That was not the case. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But it was definitely not 9.
It was
All
probably
right.
close, but Sabraski
It probably
screwed
was.
that up for me. Yeah.
It probably was. Well, what was it? It was Sam Mars. It was 28. It was Mars, and then what was it? Bargender was there, right? In the top, and Demel.
Yeah.
And then you had
Yeah.
on night number 1 you had Sabraski. I know Sabraski won night 3. Who else? I don't remember who else was in the top 3. I don't have it in front of me. Do you have it in front of you?
Burdick got one night, right?
Did he get 3rd?
Yeah, they interviewed him on Sunday.
Okay, so he was on the podium. Okay.
And TPO got 2nd on Sunday.
Yep. Okay.
So I was probably all right except for Sabraski.
There you go. There you go. Sabraski kind of pimping you there a little bit. All right. So the Uper had one. He said World of Outlaws sprints would have at least 75% of the podium finishes this week in World of Outlaws sprint car action. 9 of 12. Exactly 75%. He got that right. And then Kenny, right? The Beefcake. He said that at the mod special at Viking, the top 3 would be these drivers. Dusty Bitson, Brady Gertis, Jason Tennis, and that's exactly what it was. So congratulations to him as well. So our standings right now, we keep track of correct predictions and percentage correct. A lot of us have a lot on the board still. So leading the way in correct predictions, the Uper at 20, Peanut Galleries at 14, Kraus, you and Bert at 13, and I finally got over the Schneid and I'm at 10. As far as percentage goes, Uper's leading that at 30.8, Peanut Gallery at 24.6, and us 3 are right around 20. Actually, Kraus or Bert, you're at 19. Me and Kraus are pretty close right there. All right, so we're gonna make 3 laps around the track to close this show out. 3 bold predictions. Sometimes Bert makes them, so they're not so bold. And we're gonna make 3 laps around and racing related. Bert, Kraus, Beefcake, Uper, and then myself. So, Bert, what do you got?
I'm going to go Dirt Kings, and I'm going to say Troy Springborn will be on the podium both nights.
Okay. And if one rains out, it don't count. So just it's both nights got to have them. Okay. All right, Coach.
We're going Prairie Dirt Classic, and we're going to go at least half the field is going to DNF. So if we start, we got to have some fun. Man. Give me something a little to watch. I mean, late model's been tearing stuff up. I mean, I would have been an easy one at Aberdeen. So if 25 cars started last year, I have to have at least 13. So obviously, if 26 started, still 13 makes sense. So, but half
less
the field's
than 50%. Yeah, less than 50% will finish.
Yeah, half the field's going to DNF.
Okay. Negative Nancy. All right. Beefcake, his first one, Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour in Wisconsin. There's going to be a first-time winner of the series. Not first-time winner overall, but first-time series winner this weekend in Wisconsin. Somebody that's never won a Street Stock Tour race will win one. Uper. All of the KME sponsored late model races this weekend will have a different winner. Grand Rapids, Superior, Hibbing, Proctor. 4 different winners. I am going to go Dirt Race Street Stock Tour as well. Wisconsin drivers will win at least 2 of those 3 races. Wisconsin drivers will win at least 2 of 3. All right, Bert, what do you got?
Let's go dirt track, or let's go to Falls, And I'll go Bobby Pierce will finish outside the top 5.
Finish? Does the DNF count?
Well, he will not place in the top 5.
Okay. So his official finishing position will be 6th or worse. Okay.
Correct.
All right, Coach.
We're going to the right here. I got the hat on. Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour. 3 shows. I got to stick with it. 9 different podium finishers in the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour this weekend.
Wow. Okay. Going bold, going big time. All right. Beefcake's gonna go in, and even though they're not having a special, he's still picking it. Fiesta City Speedway, Montevideo, Minnesota, Superstock feature on Friday night. The podium will consist of Carter Rentz, Bailey Roche, Travis Scott. Those 3 drivers on the podium at Montevideo. So, Kraus, you need to go there and get on the podium just to screw them out of that deal is what needs to happen. All right, Uper at the World of Outlaw sprint car races this weekend. The World of Outlaw regulars will win at least 50% of the races, and at least 75% of the podium finishes will be World of Outlaw regulars. My second one is we are going to go between, at Grand Rapids and Gondik Law Speedway. Okay. The rookies, Shane Sabraski and Johnny Broking, will have better average finish in those 2 nights than Kevin Burdick and Kyle Peterman. So Sabraski and Broking, better average finish than Burdick and Peterman. And they all have to be there for it to count. Okay, Bert.
I'll go to the Dirt Race Central Street Stocks and say Vogel will podium every race.
Okay, pretty good odds that don't happen because usually he wins 2 and DNFs the other one. So that's pretty bold. I'll give you that. That's bold. All right, Coach.
World of Outlaw sprint cars. They have 4 nights this week. There's going to be 4 different winners in the World of Outlaw sprint cars this weekend.
Okay. All right, Beefcake's third and final. Pat Dorr is going to end his slump and win Saturday at Rice Lake. Pat Dorr wins Saturday at Rice Lake. All right, Uper. Prairie Dirt Classic. Bobby, a little parlay action here. Bobby Pierce will start in the first 3 rows of Saturday's A main and will DNF. Probably not real bold because that's kind of his MO for the Prairie Dirt Classic. I'm going to go Little Dream. That's coming up here in about a week or a couple weeks. We're pretty close to the Little Dream. At least 5 drivers between all races, heats, B mains, feature, so on, right? At least 5 drivers will be DQ'd. There will be at least 5 DQs at the Little Dream in Rice Lake. Because from what I understand is there's going to be a little bit more teching at this deal than there has been in the past. And I tell you what, that's not good. So you better have all your you're going to the Little Dream. Wheel stickers, roof rake, roof bolts with soda stickers, a body. Make sure your shit is right. There's a lot of money on the line, guys. I don't know what last year was over 30, right? I don't know what it'll be this year. I mean, I would pretty good odds it'll be over 25,000 to win. So you better make sure that if you get DQ'd, right, with all the shit that's happened this year already, if you get DQ'd for something stupid, it's kind of on you, right? It's kind of on you. You better just make sure your shit is right because they're proving that teching is they're going to check every little thing. So, all right, guys, 2:33 in the books. Lernerville's done. A little racing tomorrow night, Fairbury. So put the comments below. Shoot us messages as you always do. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ryan. That's Bert. That is Coach Kraus. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please leave a review and subscribe. It is Puka. And Goat Sports has another show out there by podcast, Facebook, and YouTube. It's the Tea with Miss McGill show. Covers hockey, high school hockey in northern Minnesota. So if you're into hockey, you can find us on podcast under Tea with Miss McGill. You can find us on YouTube or Facebook, Goat Sports Media LLC. Yours truly and Coach Reed Larson. We break it down every week. We also do some interesting interviews. We'd love to have you. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll catch you next week.